and the All Indiana Podcast Network. This is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Jenkins, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 Podcast for Tuesday, February 4th. We begin with the new trade tariffs that went into effect today. U.S. companies must now pay 10% extra to the federal government. In response, China is now imposing 15% tariffs on American coal and natural gas, and 10% on crude oil and other products. China says it is also launching an antitrust investigation into Google. Economists largely expect the increases to pass on to consumers through higher prices. Leaders in Europe also say they're bracing for tariffs from the U.S., but are looking to start negotiations. Trump's tariffs against Canada and Mexico are on hold for at least 30 days to give time for more negotiations. President Trump has also signed an executive order directing the U.S. to develop a government-owned investment fund that Trump says could profit off of TikTok if the company can find a buyer in the country. Trump says he wants to use a fund to have the federal government own a 50% stake in TikTok. Trump says other countries typically have sovereign wealth funds that invest in assets like stocks and real estate, but those are typically funded by a country's budget surplus, which the U.S. does not have. At the State House, Democrats on the Indianapolis-Marion County Council have kicked a counselor out of their caucus. Counselor Jesse Brown found out just moments before walking into Monday night's meeting. News 8's Hernan Gutierrez reports.
Jesse Brown is still a member of the City County Council. He will still be able to vote on issues. But what this vote means is that Brown can no longer participate in the closed meetings with other Democrats on the council. The news first broke when Brown made a post on X just before last night's council meeting, saying 13 of the other 18 Democrats on the council voted to expel him from the caucus. He would later post on social media that his colleagues did not explain their action. That statement went on to say public business should be conducted in public rather than behind closed doors. My commitment to this principle has often put me at odds with my colleagues. Brown has been outspoken in his criticism of some Democratic officials. He called on Mayor Joe Hogsett to resign over several issues, most recently the handling of snow removal following last month's winter storm. Brown also called out some council Democrats by name for what Brown says was their lack of support for Indianapolis public schools. Brown added in his statement, "Politics behind closed doors only works for those who can afford entry. My constituents deserve a city that works for them, not just the capitalists and developers." Later, the Democratic caucus put out their own statement accusing Brown of making what it called falsehoods and inappropriate accusations. It reads, in part, for a caucus to be successful, it must rely on trust, factual discourse, and a commitment to constructive teamwork. Brown says he will fight the expulsion, saying it disenfranchises the voters of his district. Reporting in the newsroom, I'm Hernan Gutierrez for WishTV, WishTV.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
Last month's winter storms had many residents angry their streets weren't getting plowed. Monday night at the City County Council meeting, Democratic Councilor Jared Evans introduced a proposed ordinance that would require the city to have residential streets included in the plowing plan.
If you were in that committee and you saw how angry we were because people were coming to us. It was everything from, hey, I can't even get out of get down my street to go pick up my pharmacy medications. I can't, my kids can't even get to school.
That proposal could go before the council's Public Works Committee next week. Let's talk sports. Big honors for head coach Rick Carlisle. He was just named the NBA's Eastern Conference Coach of the Month for January. The Pacers are rolling right now with the best record in the league since the calendar turned to 2025. Last night, the Pacers stayed hot, thanks in part to Tyrese Halliburton. His three with just under a minute to play, part of a fourth quarter rally that brought the Pacers back from a 12-point deficit against the Jazz in Utah. Indiana gets the win 112-111. Next up, the team continues the road trip, taking on the Trailblazers in Portland tonight. When it comes to the Fever, a familiar face is returning. The team announced yesterday they signed three-time WNBA champion Natasha Howard. She was Indiana's first-round pick back in 2014 and spent 2 seasons with the Fever before going on to win titles with the Minnesota Lynx in 2017 and with the Seattle Storm in 2018 and 2020. Howard played for the Dallas Wings for the last 2 seasons. When it comes to the weather, we broke a record high yesterday, but Storm Track 8 says the cooler winter conditions are coming back. Meteorologist Marcus Bailey has your News 8 Daily 8 forecast.
It's not going to be an awful day. We're just not going to be anywhere close to the numbers that we had yesterday. 34 in Plainfield, 33 in Fishers, and 33 in Greenfield here. Visibility issues, not really. I am noticing, we've seen some reports of maybe some light drizzle, including out at the airport here in Indianapolis. Might be annoying for the kids when they're out at the bus stop here, kind of a chilly, mist. And it may be enough to get the windshield wipers moving out the door this morning. 33 in Lafayette, 34 in Muncie, 37 in Shelbyville. We are 10 degrees colder than 24 hours ago, nearly 30 degrees colder in places like Iowa and Minnesota. But we're dry. There's no real significant precip chances that we're concerned with or eyeballing here for the next 24 hours or so. So that's some good news here. Numbers today are going to struggle. We are going to be 25 degrees colder than our highs yesterday. 43 is going to be our high. Again, we'll keep it dry. Lunchtime temperature around 40. We should scoot into that 43 range late this afternoon. Now, obviously, a lot of talk about it is going to be much, much cooler than yesterday. We technically are going to still be above average for this time of year. Normal high typically around 38 degrees. Now, a lot of action coming our way. We got a roller coaster ride of temperatures, a lot of ups and downs, and I've got several precipitation chances over the next 7 to 10 days. We'll walk you through it in a very busy 7-day forecast coming your way in just a few minutes.
To get a peek at the full forecast, just head over to wishtv.com, or you can download the Wish TV Storm Track 8 app. And don't forget to check out our Storm Track 8 weather blogs. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 podcast for Tuesday, February 4th. I'm Jeremy Jenkins for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.